Fans from all over the world loved Bad Chad Customs because it had crazy, over-the-top custom car builds and scary stunts. Chad and his team worked hard to make one-of-a-kind jaw-dropping cars. What matters is what you can make. All the while making millions of people laugh with their fearless antics and unrestrained imagination. Every project was bigger and riskier than the last, going against what people thought was possible. But something bad was going on behind the scenes. Bad Chad Customs didn't end because of this tragedy. It broke up the community and broke the hearts of fans. How Bad Chad Customs have grown. Bad Chad Customs is one of the most well-known and loved names in the world of custom cars and car culture. In the middle of it all was Chad Hiltz, a man from Nova Scotia who quickly became famous among fans at home and around the world for his hands-on approach to old cars and his deep love of them. Bad Chad Customs began as a small shop in the area that fixed up and customized old cars. However, Chad's skills and friendly attitude quickly grew the shop into something much bigger. It wasn't just about cars, it was about the people who lived there and the stories behind each build. Chad was able to connect with the roots of autowork and treat each car as a work of art and history. No matter if it was an old truck or a rusty classic muscle car, Chad and his team could bring these machines back to life in a way that felt real and personal. That this was real is exactly what made the Discovery Channel take notice. The channel chose to start a show with Chad and his team in 2019 called Bad Chad Customs. People saw the studio on the show. It is on Highway 358, just north of the small town of Canning in Nova Scotia. It wasn't like other shows about fixing up old cars. Not only did it show off fancy, expensive cars, but it also honored the hard work that goes into creatively and emotionally bringing old, forgotten cars back to life. People were interested from the very first show. People saw Chad's greasy hands, his unwavering drive, and his down-to-earth personality. They saw the ups and downs of designing cars in a shop in a small town. Instead of the Hollywood glam of bigger shows, Bad Chad Customs' charm came from being real. Viewers didn't just watch cars get fixed. They learned about the people, the background, and the drive behind each project. But Chad himself was what made the show stand out. He wasn't very good at being a TV host. He was good at what he did and loved it. The nickname Bad Chad didn't mean that he was bad. The name stuck because it was funny and easy to remember. It was easy to connect with Chad. He was the kind of guy you'd want to hang out with and talk about cars and life. His partner, Jolene McIntyre, was just as important in the shop as she was on the show. They worked together and loved what they did, which gave the show a strong emotional core and showed that custom car work was more than just a hobby. It was a family event. The show quickly became popular around the world. Because Discovery Channel was so popular, viewers from all over the world started to tune in. It was clear that this wasn't just another reality show because it had real artistry, strong characters, and stories from the heart. It was different in some way. It was more than just a show by the end of the first season. It was a brand. People looked forward to each show because they wanted to know what Chad and Jolene would do next. The show was a big hit in the world of automotive TV because of the cars, the stories, and the sense of community that grew around them. Even though things were going well, there were signs that things wouldn't stay that way forever. Even as the show got better, problems were starting to form that could soon put Bad Chad Customs' future at risk. The best of Bad Chad. After the original buzz of the show's premiere, Bad Chad Customs quickly became known for not only its real feel, but also for some truly memorable moments and car builds. Every week, people watched to see what Chad and his partner Jolene would make next. And there were many projects that interested both car fans and people who just liked watching. One reason the show was so popular was that Chad and his team worked on such a wide range of unique and creative cars. There wasn't a standard way of fixing things up where everything was made shiny and perfect. Instead, each build told the story of the car, including its past, its flaws, and what it could be. The shop was very personal and hands-on. Chad could often be seen working away in the garage, covered in grease, but always determined to bring each car's spirit back to life. The episode where a 1969 Chevrolet Camaro, a famous muscle car loved by car fans everywhere, was restored was one of the best. Not only did this build show off Chad's skill with metal work and unique paint jobs, but it also showed how much he cared about these machines. The Camaro was more than just a project. It gave me a chance to experience a part of car history and share my love of cars with fans. The episode had intense work meetings, times when people had to solve problems, and the thrill of seeing the big reveal. It was presented in a real, no-frills way. Another fan favorite was about an old pickup truck that was found in a barn, rusting away. This episode was about memories that you thought you had lost coming back to you. What made the show so great was how hard Chad and Jolene worked to keep the truck's original look, while making it work for current purposes. Another interesting thing about the show was how well Chad and Jolene got along. They worked together well in the shop because they had different styles and skills. There was more to Jolene than being a friend. She was the main force behind many of the projects and worked well with others. People loved seeing how well they got along and worked together. It helped the work seem real and close to home. A 1955 Chevrolet Bear was another one that stood out. This old American landmark was fully restored with a modern twist. Chad and Jolene carefully combined the original style with small changes they made themselves. The car's smooth finish and thoughtful details made it a favorite among watchers and a highlight for the shop. It had a new paint job and an upgraded engine that found a good balance between power and dependability. A 1972 Pontiac Firebird was also a build that people will never forget. This Firebird, which is known for its bold lines and muscle car roots, got a whole new look. Chad's team improved the suspension and added special work to the inside, making the car look as strong as it was. The shop's ability to respect a car's roots while giving it new life was shown by the Firebird's makeover. Bad Chad Customs also worked on a one-of-a-kind 1963 Ford Galaxie. This full-size cruiser was given a new look with a sleek paint job and up-to-date motor parts. With the Galaxie's size and look, Chad's team could show how well they paid attention to the little things. From the shiny chrome details to the smooth body lines, this project stands out. Bad Chad's Customs range is shown off by these memorable cars. Each project, from classic American muscle cars to old cruisers, shows how much work, skill, and respect for automobile history went into it. These highlights help the show become known more quickly as a real, emotional look at custom car culture. Not only were the cars important, but so were the people who worked hard on them and took pleasure in their work. The cars' stories were like the team's stories. They had problems and they solved them. Fans were interested in more than just the builds, though. There were many funny, frustrating, and inspiring moments in the episodes, such as when a stubborn part wouldn't fit or when a surprise find in an engine led to a big step forward. These parts of the show made Chad and Jolene seem like real people, not just TV stars. The fact that the show had more and more fans showed how popular it was. People didn't just sit back and watch the show. They talked about their best builds on social media and shared stories about their own cars. People who worked at Bad Chad Customs became as important to the business as the cars themselves. Even though it was getting a lot of attention and rising quickly, the show was still small compared to the big names in car TV. But it was the fact that it was small and felt real that gave it life, something that the people knew and liked. Even though these wins were great, there was a feeling that things might not go smoothly forever. The effect on culture. The show Bad Chad Customs quickly spread beyond Nova Scotia and even into Canada as it continued to air. What began as the journey of a small neighborhood shop into the world of custom cars quickly spread around the world. People from all over the world were moved by Chad and Jolene's work, their love of it, and the unique stories behind each build. A big part of this rise was social media. Fans talked about the show, posted clips, and shared pictures of Chad's custom cars on sites like Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. These sites were more than just places to advertise. Car fans used them as virtual meeting places to share tips, stories, and support for the team. There were a lot of new fans fast, and the community felt real and active. This made Bad Chad Customs more than just a TV show. A movement grew out of it. Many people were interested. Some fans loved the technical parts, the skill, the repair methods, and the accuracy with which Chad worked on each car. Others were interested in the people who worked there and the story behind the shop. A couple from a small town with a big dream who is working hard to make something amazing happen. There were a lot of people who liked how straight, forward, honest, and approachable the work was. Chad and Jolene also started to be known at trade shows, special car meets, and events for cars. They were more than just TV stars. They were a part of the bigger community of people who liked cars. To see the cars, meet the team, and learn more about the unique builds, fans would come in person. The personal link with fans made the brand seem more real and loyal. The team also grew their reach by making products and working with other artists. People liked hats, shirts, and stickers with the Bad Chad Customs image on them. This helped get the word out about the business and keep it going. It felt normal for this to grow. The reason wasn't just to make money. It was to honor the show's culture and the community that had grown around it. As Bad Chad Customs' fame grew, so did people's hopes for them. Fans asked for more stories, builds, and shows. Discovery Channel saw this rising interest and gave the show a second season, which aired in 2020. People were excited to see what new projects Chad and Jolene would work on with the team. But as fame grew, it brought new problems. Under the stress of making TV shows, it's never easy to keep the same level of quality and realism. What really happened behind the scenes was more complex than what people saw on TV. Longer production schedules, higher risks, and more work put stress on the team. Even so, Chad and Jolene stayed together because they loved their fans and their work. But the world was about to go through a disaster that no one saw coming. Everything changed as the team got ready for their third season. What started out as faraway news would soon affect everyone in a way that neither fans nor crew members could have imagined. The effect happened right away. The filming stopped quickly. Planes were thrown off track. The team had to stop working and figure out how to get around in a place that was changing quickly. It was a big problem for a show like Bad Chad Customs that relies on close teamwork and hands-on work in a busy shop. In the face of a world crisis that had never been seen before, Chad and Jolene were faced with questions about the show, their business, and their ability to keep doing what they loved. Fans were waiting for good news for now, though. No one knew it wasn't just a stop. Sad things would happen at the end of the show's run on Discovery Channel. What the shadow means for Bad Chad Customs. Bad Chad Customs was having a great time by the beginning of 2020. A lot of people really liked the second season, and plans were already well underway for a third one. The shop on Highway 358 was full of people who worked hard for Chad and Jolene. They were excited about new special builds and stories to tell. More people were going to watch the show, and it looked like it would become even more popular as a beloved car show. Then, out of the blue, a storm started to form, one for which no one on the team could have fully planned. The end of Bad Chad Customs was caused by this terrible event, which is truly sad. In 2019, Discovery Channel showed off Chad Hiltz and his partner Jolene McIntyre's small shop in Nova Scotia called Hiltz Auto Company. The show showed the real, honest process of restoring and customizing old cars in a way that made viewers feel very linked to the content. Season 1 did well, so there will be a second season in 2020. Before the plague, everything looked like it would happen for a third season. What began as a health emergency quickly turned into a nightmare for business. Safety rules and lockdowns made shooting almost impossible, especially in a busy workshop where Chad and his team worked together a lot. It was full force when the flu hit. What began as faraway news stories quickly turned into real events that shook people's lives. Lockdowns and strict health rules were put in place by the governments. Businesses shut down. Film and TV projects around the world were stopped. Bad Chad Customs was no different. It was terrible. We were ready to start shooting season 3, but they kept pushing it back, so we had to cancel. There was more going on than just another cancellation when the cameras stopped running on Bad Chad Customs. For Chad and Jolene, it was a very sad time, the abrupt and surprising end of a project that had been a dream come true. The reason for it was sad in a way that no fan could have fully predicted. Besides the problems with logistics, there were also big cash problems. Networks had to cut their budgets and put off creation for good. Smaller shows like Bad Chad Customs were especially at risk because they didn't have the huge budgets of big hits. There was no more show because of the pandemic. It stopped the show for good. Not only was this depressing, it was also sad. Chad and Jolene had worked hard on the series for years with a lot of love. They told millions of people about their love of custom cars and small-town life. They weren't just makers. They felt like they lost a part of who they were and the group they had built around the show when it was canceled. The tragedy didn't end with the show, though. In other ways, the plague hit close to home. Like many small businesses, Chad's workshop had trouble with supply chain problems, hiring issues, and the stress of not knowing what would happen next. The close-knit group had to deal with health scares, money problems, and being alone during shutdowns. The personal story behind the show's cancellation was what made it end, a story of strength in the face of hardship. The show was built on close teamwork, hands-on work, and a close-knit shop atmosphere. The new rules were terrible. Because of health issues, social distance, and travel restrictions, it was not possible to film on site. What used to be a busy place where people worked together became a calm, unsure spot. At first, Chad and Jolene thought this was just a short-term problem. They tried to change by coming up with new ways to keep people interested, like posting updates on social media and even filming short clips from the shop while making sure everyone was safe. But the truth was hard. The company that made the show had to make some tough choices. The outbreak had a big effect on the entertainment business's finances. Less new work is being done by networks. Safety concerns slowed down the shooting. Last but not least, it was announced that there would be no third season of Bad Chad Customs. This was terrible news for Chad and Jolene. The show was more than just a job. They loved doing it and saw it as a way to share their skill with the world. They felt like they lost a part of who they were when the plans were canceled. The fire lives on, but the story of Bad Chad Customs was far from over, even though the TV show stopped. They knew that the love from their fans and the spirit of their work had to keep going even after the cameras stopped moving. There was a change going on behind the scenes. They found new ways to connect with fans and keep the custom car culture alive when they didn't have to be on TV. The new stage for them was social media. Millions of people started watching online videos of builds, lessons, and behind-the-scenes looks. Their Facebook page and YouTube channel grew into active groups. It wasn't easy to make this change. They had to be creative, work hard, and be open to changing the way they did things. But Chad and Jolene accepted it, and what could have been a sad finish became a new start. The pandemic wasn't the only thing that led to this sad ending for Bad Chad Customs on TV. It was the effect it had on other things. The show's future was over because the industry shut down, money problems, and the new facts of production all came together. Fans were also very sad. There were lots of words of support and sadness on online forums and social media. Many people hoped that the show would come back, but it was clear that it would not. That was the end of the TV story. Still, Bad Chad and Jolene's strength showed through. They wouldn't let the disaster end their story. Instead, they found creative ways to work on their interest and even get more people to watch. What came next showed that the spirit of Bad Chad Customs was better than any setback, and that an end on one platform can be the start of something even bigger. Their Facebook page and YouTube channel grew very quickly, getting millions of friends all over the world. Chad and Jolene were able to connect with their audience even more immediately with this new method. Social media's personal, behind-the-scenes style brought fans closer together and built a lively community that went beyond TV. This new model was also good for the economy. In standard TV, income comes mostly from network contracts and ads. On the other hand, Chad and Jolene had more control over their fans and a closer connection with them through sponsorships, merchandise, and ad revenue on social media. The pandemic shut one door, the TV show, but it opened another. Bad Chad Customs wasn't just a show that was ended. It was a brand that was born again on digital media, and in some ways it was stronger than before. The memory lives on. The story of Bad Chad Customs wasn't over when the show on Discovery Channel stopped. Chad and Jolene find a way to keep their love alive, which changes the sad finish into a new start. The impact of the show didn't go away. It changed to fit a new world shaped by social media and new ways of watching. Chad and Jolene turned their attention to digital media because they weren't limited by traditional TV. The new places for their custom car videos were on their YouTube account, Facebook page, and Instagram. It wasn't just the level of their work that made this transition work so well. It was a real way for them to connect with people. Chad and Jolene could share their builds in real time, give viewers instructions, talk to viewers directly, and show behind the scenes moments that TV never got to show. Fans loved how real it felt and how it gave them a better look at what a custom car shop does every day. Because people interacted with each other directly, an active online group grew every day. They had more power over their money when they made it through social media ads, sponsorships, and selling things. They didn't have to depend on network choices or production schedules like they did with traditional TV. Their TV show had to end because of the pandemic, but their business did very well in this new platform. Chad's store on Highway 358 north of Canning became more than just a regular spot in the area. It became known all over the world. Millions of people around the world have watched videos from the Hiltz Auto Company. These videos inspire car fans and keep the spirit of Bad Chad Customs alive. There was also more freedom during the change. Producers or networks couldn't force Chad and Jolene to work on projects they didn't want to. This freedom gave their builds new ideas and energy, which fueled the brand in ways they didn't expect. Even though it hurt to lose the TV show, Chad and Jolene were pushed to try new things and grow. Now, people from all over the world watch every new video online and are loyal to them. Their story shows that failures can lead to new chances if you're ready to change. Fans still look up to Bad Chad Customs as an example of skill, dedication, and persistence. Chad and Jolene's rise from a small shop in Nova Scotia to social media stars around the world shows how hard they work and how much they love what they do. The sad reason the TV show stopped was a problem that no one saw coming. But it didn't make them who they were. Instead, it was a turning point that showed that the story goes on in ways no one could have thought after the cameras stopped rolling. The show Bad Chad Customs is more than just over. A group of people who believe in the power of handmade cars and the people who build them keep the tradition going. How about you? Which Bad Chad Customs show is your favorite?